Welcome everybody, and today we're taking a look at a brand new 4K release from our video, and it is 1998's Ringu. So yeah, this is directed by Hideo Nakata, who also did Dark Water, which is another really rather good horror film, as well as Ringu 2 and The Ring 2, which was a sequel to the American remake of this film. And yeah, it's a psychological supernatural horror film, clocking in at 96 minutes long. It only had a budget of $1.5 million, and yet at the box office returned 19.4 million. So a really rather successful film, so you can see why sequels and even a remake were made. And yeah, stars Hiroki Sanada, 13th film of his that I've seen. Other favourites outside of this include John Wick Chapter 4, The Last Samurai, and Royal Warriors. And it's about a mysterious video that has been linked to a number of deaths. And when an inquisitive journalist finds the tape and views it herself, she sets in motion a chain of events that puts her own life in danger. So yeah, this effort makes for a deeply unsettling experience that, unlike most horror films that I have watched, while it also manages to combine perfectly ghostly tales with modern technological fears, it also builds a sense of unrelenting dread throughout, sets up its rules wonderfully. It is well acted, solidly paced. The score and cinematography gives the film a great sense of atmosphere, and the fact it doesn't rely on gore, as you don't see any of the deaths in this film, you only see the aftermath of those deaths. It is able to set itself apart from other horror films, especially from those from the same decade, as yeah, the slasher genre was still in its, pretty much in its heyday in the 90s, and yeah, they obviously rely on a lot of violence and blood and the like, and this is a complete opposite to those kind of films. So yeah, you get this nice slipcover with this release, which yeah is nicely done. Not a massive fan of the artwork, but it is nicely done regardless. And then you also get, physically wise, you get the disc itself, which again is printed with the same kind of artwork. I'm not sure if there's any new artwork on the other side. Yes, there is. So you can have that version instead. Which, yeah, I think that one's probably a little bit more visually interesting. Certainly gets across the terror of the film itself. And yeah, you also get a booklet to go along with it, again with the new artwork on the front and a shot from the film on the back. And in the booklet, I'm pretty sure it's the same stuff that we got for the Blu-ray release, which I also have a steelbook version of. So let's compare and contrast, just to see. Some people really do like their booklets, and therefore it's not nice to have the same things twice. One of these write-ups is the same as the older version, so there is that. So yeah, but the new version is Sadako's Impossible Moves from 2018 by Violet Lucca. Then the reprint is Ringu, This Vortex of Evil Energy from 2018 by Alexandra Hella Nicholas. And then you've also got the rest about the restoration itself as well. So there are shots from the film. I'm not going to give away some of the more obvious shots, but that's with the contents there on the front. And then I think that's pretty much the first scene in the film. So yeah, it's all nicely done. And then it's got about the restoration in the rear as well. So it's been exclusively restored by Arrow Films and is presented in its original aspect ratio with stereo and 5.1 audio. The original 35mm camera negative element was scanned in 4K resolution at Imagica Tokyo. The film was restored in 4K and graded in HDR10 at R3 Store Studios in London, and Dolby Vision grading was completed by Fidelity in Motion, New York. The stereo and 5.1 mixes were remastered from the original audio files at Deluxe Audio Services. And yeah, all materials for this restoration were made available from Kadokawa Corporation, and the 2K grading was supervised and approved by Director of Photography, Junichiro Hayashi. I'm probably getting that wrong. And then the 4K HDR grading uses approved grade as our primary color reference, and restoration was supervised by James White at Arrow Video. So yeah, certainly put a lot of effort into the grading of the film and the like, but me personally, I don't think there's a massive difference in this version over the Blu-ray. maybe it's just my eyes being screwed up or my TV not being particularly up to date. It is a 4K TV, but it's not, you know, a bang up to date 4K TV. So maybe that's why. But I didn't see massive differences between this and the Blu-ray. And then you also get a double-sided poster as well, with again the same artwork as on the reversible sleeve. As you can see, not a huge amount of imagination put into these posters. I would have preferred something different to the artwork, because, like I said, I do like it, but it's not, you know, blowing me away. It's certainly not the kind of artwork that we've seen from our video before. But still, this film, the film itself, which is the main important part, outside of all of the physical extras or the extras on the disc, which we'll take a look at now. Obviously, you got your optional English subtitles. You got audio commentary by film historian David Kalat. You got the Ringu Legacy, a series of interviews from critics and filmmakers on their memories of the Ringu series and its enduring legacy. You got A Vicious Circle, a video interview with author and critic Kat Ellinger on the career of Hideo Nakata. You got Circumnavigating Ringu, a video essay by author and critic Alexander Helen Nicholas on the evolution of the Ringu series. Spooks, Size and Videotape, a video essay by critic Jasper Sharp on the J-horror phenomenon. Then you got the Sidarko's video itself that is featured in the film, so if you just want to see that for some reason, then you can just watch that on its own. You got theatrical trailers, and yeah, all of the physical extras that you've seen there. But outside of the extras on the disc, outside of the physical extras or the presentation, it is about the film at the end of the day, and it is a fantastic film, easily one of my favourite horror films, not just of the 90s, but of all time. And yeah, like I said, it's just that unrelenting dread that it gets across, because you know the premise, you surely do, that, you know, once you see this videotape, you get a phone call saying that you're going to die in 7 days, and it really perfectly encapsulates that slow build-up of, you know, time over those 7 days and until it, you know, concludes on the 7th day. So yeah, really good at presenting that dread throughout the film. And yeah, the sound effects and the score and the cinematography, all just you know, helping that dread. And yeah, really good film. And yeah, 4.5 out of 5 as far as I'm concerned. Only really slightly let down because, you know, I would have liked a little bit more of the horror element to shine through, in terms of, you know, showing something in terms of maybe a kill or two here or there. But at the end of the day, I think that also works in its favour, because it, you know, it keeps the unknown, and your imagination is able to play far greater detail in your head than anything that could be shown on the screen, as far as I'm concerned. And it does what The Exorcist 3 did really nicely, in terms of, you know, hearing stories, hearing what has happened, and, you know, hearsay and all that lot being used to, you know, stir up your imagination. And yeah, it's really good at that. I think that half a star is really just me expecting, you know, a kill or two here and there, because it's this kind of horror film. But if you're not expecting kills, then you will get a lot more out of this than maybe I did. But like I said, it's still one of my favourites. And yeah, half a star out of 5, and below 5 stars is still hardly a, you know, a detriment to the film's quality overall. So yeah, superb effort. It's just a shame the sequels weren't as good. I've seen the Ringu 2, which, yeah, I only gave 3 out of 5. The remake, it's a solid remake. It's certainly got a lot of production style and, you know, finesse to it. And the I think it's Nicole Kidman in the lead role, is really rather good. What was it? Or is it the other one that I'm mistaken for? Whoever it is, it's still got a good lead performance, and Gore Verbinski is really rather good in terms of directing it, but it's not. It's got a lot of its edges sharpened off in comparison to this, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, but it's still a solid remake. But again, the sequel, even though it's directed by Hideo Nakata, is again a letdown. So yeah, in terms of the sequels, not particularly great, but as far as I'm concerned, as long as the first film is excellent, then that's all that matters. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and if you've seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But if you haven't, and you're into your, you know, your horror films, or your Japanese horror films, or just foreign language horror films, then I do highly recommend it, especially for this upcoming Halloween. Give it a watch. So yeah, nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.